once again class 11th, the same lesson, that is the biological classification. We are going to study about the Whittaker's 5 kingdom classification. That is the valid classification we are used nowadays. Okay. Now what is the criteria of the classification? Whatever the criteria which is taken by the Whittaker for his 5 kingdom classification. So we are going to study the comparative study in that. We are going to start from the complexity of the cell. The first character which is taken by the Whittaker is the complexity . What is the complex level of the cell? How much the cell is complex in its structure? That is called the complexity of the cell. These are called the eukaryote. This is called the prokaryote. First is the prokaryote. Prokaryote moves towards the eukaryote. As we know that from the lower level we have to move towards the upper level. So what are the first? That is called the prokaryotes. Okay, the prokaryotes. And prokaryotes, actually we call them the monera. So the characters which are simple cells are there. If the simple cells are there, the kingdom is called the monera. Okay, simple cells are there. They are the prokaryotes. So they are called the monera. This monera moves towards the complex structure and they form the eukaryotes. Okay, eukaryotes are formed. It means there is little bit complexity in the cell, and when the complexity in the cell arises, then what happens? The complexity of organisms start. Complexity of the organisms start. When the complexity of organisms start, what happened? The organisms are converted into unicellular first, then convert into multicellular. What happened? The unicellular organisms are formed and multicellular organisms are formed. Multicellular is the complex level. Multicellular organisms is the complex level. When the unicellular organisms are formed, they call the protista. They call the protista. Okay, they call the protista. This is the second kingdom which is proposed by the Whittaker. Then we move toward this character is going on according to the cell complexity, then the organism complexity, then the mode of nutrition. What is the third character? This is the first, this is second, and this is the third. What is third? That is the mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition. Okay, on the basis of the mode of nutrition, here only the multicellular organisms are included. Multicellular, not the unicellular, only the multicellular are here. Who are here? Here the multicellular. And when we call the multicellular organism, it means we are going to classify it into 3 parts. What are the 3 parts which we are going to classify? One is called autotroph, one is called saprotroph, one is called heterotroph. When we call the autotroph or we call the saprotroph or we call it the heterotroph. When we call the autotrophs, it means they are plantae. When we call heterotroph, it means they are the animalia. And when we call the saprotroph, then it is the fungi. These are the 5 kingdom classification, the criteria of the 5 kingdom classification proposed by the Whittaker. Now we are going to compare this property in tabular form in all the 5 kingdoms. In tabular form, we are able to study it well. So we are going to study all these characters in tabular form. Okay. According to Whittaker proposing theory, whatever the tabular form here we are going to make. First is for the character. Now we have the 5 kingdom. Okay. Monera, protista, fungi, plantae and animalia. Okay, these all are the characters are there. These are the characters. This is Monera, Protista, then fungi, then plantae, then Animalia. These are the 5 kingdoms proposed by Whittakar. Okay. Now first character that we are going to choose is the cell type. What type of cell is present? We know that in Monera, the unicellular cell is there. In Protista, the unicellular cell is there. In Monera, unicellular prokaryotes are there. In Protista, unicellular eukaryotes are there. But what about the fungi? It contains multicellular, plantae multicellular, Animalia multicellular. One fungi is there. That is the exceptional case. That is yeast. Yeast is the unicellular. You must remember, yeast is a fungi and yeast is unicellular. This is one exception case here. Okay, you have to remind it. The first character is the cell type. Second is the Now what is the second character? Second character, we are taking the nuclear membrane or the nucleus. Okay, nucleus or nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane. Okay. What about the nuclear membrane? As we know that in unicellular prokaryote, nuclear membrane is absent. It is not present here. It is absent here, but it is present here, 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 and here. So this is about the nucleus or the nuclear membrane. Okay. Now what is the next characteristic? That is the organelle. Organelle. Organelles means all the organs which are present inside the plasma membrane, all the organelles like mitochondria, Golgi body, ribosome, nucleus, this and that. All the organelles, or according to the organelle, in unicellular prokaryotes, the organelles are not defined properly. They are non-bonded organelles are there. They are bonded organelles are absent in the unicellular prokaryotes. Okay, this is the prokaryote. This is the eukaryotes. Okay, so what is organelle? It is absent here, but it is present in all these places. Okay, so what is the next character? Next is the cell wall. Cell wall. Cell wall, it is the outermost protecting layer. Advance is there. The cell wall is absent in animal. First is it's absent in animal. Okay, it is absent in animal. It is clear. But cell wall in some extent is present in Monera, Protista, fungi, and in plant. It is the cell wall is present. Cellulose cell wall. Cellulose cell wall. Okay, in plant it is a cellulose cell wall, highly advanced protecting layer. But what about the Monera, Protista, and fungi? Fungi also bear the cell wall, and that cell wall is the chitinous cell wall. Chitinous cell wall. Cell wall also present in the Protista. Protista have the cell wall, and that cell wall, it is some Protista, not the whole Protista. Some Protista bear the cell wall. Some have cell wall. Okay. Some have cell wall. What about the Monera? In Monera, also the cell wall is present, but that cell wall is formed by the peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan cell wall is present. Cell wall is present. But the true cell wall is the cellulose cell wall, which is present in the advanced species, and that is the plantae or the plants. Next is the nutrition. Nutrition, what is the mode of nutrition in all the organisms? As we know that on the nutrition mode, it first is the Monera. Monera is the unicellular Protista. What is the nutrition mode in the Monera? They are the autotroph. But some Monera are heterotroph also. Some Monera are saprotrophs also. Autotroph, they are actually the chemosynthetic autotroph. Okay, these are the chemosynthetic autotroph. Okay, but some are saprophytes, some are saprophytes, and some are heterotrophs. So some differentiation, different type of exceptions are present here. Okay, now what about the second is the protista. What about the protista? Protista is the autotrophic. They have the photosynthetic autotrophs. Protista are photosynthetic autotroph as well as the heterotroph and the parasite also. This is the photosynthetic autotrophs. Okay, but they are parasites also. Some parasites are also present in the group, the unicellular eukaryotes or the protista. The parasites are also present, and if the parasites are there, they are the heterotrophs also. Heterotrophs is the parasitic nutrition, is actually a heterotrophic nutrition. Now what about the fungi? Fungi are actually saprophytes. Basically, they are saprophytes. They depends on the dead and decayed plants and animals. What is the meaning of the sapro? Sapro means dead and decayed. So they depend dead or decayed. They actually taken their food. Mode of nutrition is the sucking. So they are taking their food by the process of the sucking, and that is called the saprophyte. That is depend on the dead or decayed plant and animal. And saprophytes is also a type of the heterotrophic nutrition. So it is heterotrophic. Okay, and it is parasites also. Some saprophytes are the parasites also. Fungal infection is very much common disease in the human. So that fungal infection, because they are the parasites on our body. What about the plantae? All the plantae are actually photosynthetic autotrophs. These are photosynthetic autotrophs. They prepare the food for the whole earth. So they are the photosynthetic autotroph. And what about the last animals? They are basically heterotrophic in nature. Heterotrophic nutrition is there. Heterotrophs. Okay, heterotrophic nutritions are there. But some are the holozoic, some are the saprophyte. Okay, they are holozoic also. Holozoic, you know very well what is holozoic, and saprophytes also is there. Okay, so this is the nutrition mode among all the 5 kingdoms. Now, what is the body organization? One more character is there, that is the body organization. In body organization, we know that the monera are the cell, made up of the cell. Okay, this is the unicellular, cellular body is there. Body organization, unicellular. Unicellular. So the body organization is the cellular. Okay, body organization is the cell. Okay, cellular. It is also the cellular, multicellular, but cellular. Okay, it is also the cellular. What about the fungi? After the protista, fungi are the multicellular, but loose. Multicellular. But what is the important thing? This multicellular is made up of the loose tissue. Multicellular made up of the loose tissue. Next, organization, it is made up of the, let's advance there, it is made up of the tissue and the organs are there. Okay, tissue and the organ is found in the plantae. And what about the animalia? They contain the tissue, they contain the organ, they also contain the organ system. Okay, so what happened here? Here only the cell, here the cellular stage is there, tissue is formed here, here is the tissue, here, what is the here? The cell plus tissue plus organ. Okay, and what is next here? Let's see it again. Okay, say it again. What is the body organization? Here only cell, here also the cell. What happened here? Here cell plus tissue. What happened here? Cell plus tissue plus organ. What happened here? Cell plus tissue plus organ system. So this is the comparative study of the criteria of classification given by the Whittakar. This is the Whittakar classification basis. Okay, this is 5 kingdom classification of the species present on the earth, and this is called the Whittakar classification.